Hey, good life riders, welcome back for another video. As you can see, we are somewhere different. If you clicked on this video, you know where we're at. But riding something a little different this week. Also going to do a little bit of a different video than we normally do. So, hope you enjoy it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So if you remember back when I did the videos on traveling to Daytona Bike Week, and we showed you riding along the Gulf Coast through Flagler, because I was going to Daytona from where we were staying in St. Augustine. St. Augustine has been a place where our family has vacationed since before my wife and I were married. So my wife's family used to go to St. Augustine since when she was a young teenager, and they would travel here. If you know anything about St. Augustine, it is the oldest city in Florida, and they even say the nation, and it has a lot of beautiful architecture that was done there. It's also a really great place to go with lots of different things to see. Of course, you've got the beach, but there's some really neat stories behind this place. One of the ways you can get to see some of these stories is by taking some of these trolleys and buses, little tour buses around town, and they tell you all about the history. Lots and lots of great history there. And this has been a place that we have really loved and wanted to tell you a little bit about it. As you can see here at night, they actually do a ghost tour. But we got to do some riding this time on some scooters that my father-in-law had purchased. And it is really enjoyable to ride down. This is kind of the main drag through St. Augustine, the downtown of St. Augustine. You get to see all those historic buildings downtown. You also get a ride right along the bay, and you get to see all the boats there in the bay. Another thing we really like about the bay area is this bridge right here. It's a drawbridge. They lift it up and down sometimes. That's where this traffic's all from all the different ships that, well, not ships, boats that are in the harbor. You can see there that big huge sailboat and lots of other boats that are in the harbor. But the neat thing about this bridge, it's called the Bridge of Lions, and there's two lions as you enter it on the St. Augustine city side. Also, there's wonderful beaches there in the St. Augustine area. This time I took a little practice on my photography. Here you can check those out. I was using my big camera, but I really liked the way some of these pictures turned out. One of the other things that we really love about coming to St. Augustine is getting to climb the lighthouse. Has some spectacular views from up on top of the lighthouse. As you can see here, I'm using my 360 camera, and we get to get some really cool views. And as you can hear in the background, my wife is telling her dad, who's down below here on a bench, to take some pictures of us. Our family has a really close connection with the lighthouse, and I'll tell you about that here in a minute. But one of the neat things about the lighthouse is when you climb the stairs, they've got, at each of the landings, they've got those little placards like that that tell you different facts and history about the lighthouse. But climbing the lighthouse, you got these sections each way down, and at each section they'll tell you the count of how many steps you're going on. You can see down below there, my wife is down below, and then further down below that are the boys. And here's one of them. Is they tell you different facts each time. Here they tell you how many steps they are. And if you see over to the right side there, that I'm at the 113th step out of the 219 that there is to go. But I wanted to tell you about what it is that brings us to a connection to the St. Augustine Lighthouse. This was my mother-in-law's favorite place to be, and we purchased a little placard there. This is our boys with them, of that, so she can always be at the lighthouse. One of the other things, like I told you earlier, is taking one of these trolleys. They tell you lots of things when you're on the trolley. Here we're going down Magnolia Boulevard.
Because of the easterly wind coming off the ocean. And of course, that doesn't hurt that they're shrouded in that beautiful Spanish moss, Resurrection Fern. Now, by the way, folks, Resurrection Fern is a good example of Resurrection Fern right there on our right, on top of the exit sign.
And they kind of drop you along different ways, like at the St. Augustine Distillery. Different places, different businesses, they'll stop along and you can get off and you can partake in that business, which is a neat connection that they have. Another thing we got to do is go to the St. Augustine Aquarium, where our boys got to do some diving. They kind of have a diving experience where they get a dive in this tank, and they have different types of fish that are seen in the ocean around by St. Augustine. It's not quite like an ocean diving experience, but it still was kind of a neat opportunity for them. And we used the 360 camera, which it didn't do real well with the stitch, but there you can see Oscar, our foreign exchange student, just kind of hanging out, checking out the fish in the aquarium. They also have those little stumps are like coral, kind of a neat thing for them to experience. And along with that, we got to do some tours where they told us about different things of the sea life near St. Augustine.
We don't have no predators in our water, so if nothing is eating this fish except for us. So we do actually encourage that you can kill and eat them. I hear it kind of tastes like lobster, so it is a nice cheap alternative. But before
And a couple of the different sea creatures, they even got to touch them.
Now these guys are extremely important as a species, and that is due to their blood, which is blue in color due to high levels of copper.
And then we went over to a couple of other tanks where they told us about the sharks, and my son actually got to feed the sharks and touch them.
Their mouths. Please keep your fingers out of the water. There you go. Come on. Now the reason they make that sound is because these guys actually eat, actually eat with a form of suction. So they suck in food and water through their mouths. So when they reach the surface, they're sucking in air as well.
Yeah. She's like, hello, I'm hungry. Now she's happy. Oh, there's one down there. There you go.
All right. So when I tell you to go, you're going to pet them right down their back. You are going to wait until their mouth passes, and please do not stick your hand in there until I tell you to, because I might see a shark you don't. All right, go ahead. Very good. Okay, go ahead. You can reach your hand in there if you're comfortable. I'll tell you when.
So this particular aquarium is a place where they do some some sea animal rescue, and that's why these sharks are there. And then there's also some stingrays that our foreign exchange student's son Oscar got to pet and feed as well. And one thing that they told us is that these stingrays, they clip their barbs so that they can't actually poke you, but they also said that they're actually kind of afraid of people. And as you notice, this stingray won't come up takes a while for it to actually come up and actually take the food.
There is Bella. She is larger and darker than Clementine.
She's trying to get him there.
No. So Bella here, since our friends are rescues here, Bella was actually caught in a fisherman's net. So if you do take a look at her, you will notice she does have scars all down her waist. She doesn't really trust people, and I don't blame her. She kind of keeps to herself.
So the other stingray over on the other side is the one, Bella, that they were talking about, that kind of doesn't hang out with humans, doesn't like humans because she got caught in the fishing boat. This one, they said that it kind of sometimes doesn't like when there's a bunch of people right up next to the glass or looking at it. So as you can see, we're all kind of there, so it's still kind of hanging out underneath. And here shortly you see it starts to come alive and starts to come up.
Yeah, usually if too many people stand around the window, she won't come up. Things like a lot of things will make her not come up. She's got quite the personality. I am not quite sure where Clementine came from. I can't remember. So what'd she feel like?
Soft.
And kind of slimy?
Yeah.
So these guys are actually covered in a form of mucus. Now that mucus keeps them from getting scratched up by shell or sand at the bottom of the ocean.
So hopefully you enjoyed that little experience with us. If you are ever considering going to Florida and going to the St. Augustine area and have any questions about what you could see there, you can always reach out to me on any of my socials. Comment on this video. If you've been there, let me know what you enjoyed the most about St. Augustine. And we are going to bring you back next week for another unique experience that our boys got to take this time. And just a little note at the end here, this was our trip that we took in honor of Jamie's mom. It has been 1 year since she passed away. Yeah, I ran out of gas. Huh? Yeah. Oh, maybe I bumped the thing. I may have bumped the thing and turned it off. Yeah, I did.